Hey, fourth graders, it's Mrs. Seals back for our next science lab. So before the Thanksgiving break, we were talking about soil and all the different types of soil and their properties. We are going to continue talking about natural resources today. So we are going to be talking about something called renewable and non-renewable resources. So your target says I can identify and classify Earth's renewable and non-renewable resources. So let's review. A natural resource is something we use that comes from nature. Here are some examples of natural resources: rocks, water, soil, oil, clouds and sun, and plants and trees. All of these things come from Earth, and we use them in many different ways. So when we talk about natural resources, we can divide them or classify them into two groups. Some natural resources are what we call renewable. Others are called non-renewable. So let's talk about a renewable resource. A renewable resource is a natural resource that is constantly being recycled. It may be renewed in a relatively short amount of time. In other words, we don't have to worry about running out of it, okay? Examples of renewable resources would be air, plants, water, sun, and animals, okay? The reason why air and sun are renewable is because nobody's ever said, stop using up all the air or stop using up all the sun. We have a constant supply of them, right? They're being constantly recycled and renewed. Plants and animals are living things, so they can reproduce. We can plant more plants, or we can plant more seeds to grow new plants. Animals can have babies. They are always constantly being recycled. Water, even though we do have a limited amount of water on Earth, it is always being recycled through the water cycle. So these are resources that are constantly being recycled. A non-renewable resource is a resource that's used up at a faster rate than they can be replaced. They cannot be renewed in a person's lifetime, and they are very limited. Examples of non-renewable resources are what we call fossil fuels, and these are coal, oil, and natural gas. These are called fossil fuels, and the reason that they are non-renewable is because coal, oil, and natural gas were created over hundreds of millions of years ago. When plants and animals died and sank to the bottom of a swamp or an ocean or another body of water, over many, many, many years, they were covered by layers of sediment, which are pieces of rock or sand. And over many years, these layers pushing down squeezed all of the water out of the plants and animals that were once living. And we are left with coal, oil, and natural gas. They are found way down deep below the surface of the earth. And since they are formed from things that lived over 300 million years ago, we can't just go get more of them. Once our supply of these things runs out, that's it. That's all we have. So we have to be very sure that we are taking care and using these things very responsibly. We cannot, since they take, so many years to create, once we're done, we're done. So renewable, when we're talking about making choices about which resources to use, renewable resources are a much smarter choice. Number one, we don't have to worry about running out of them. And number two, they don't add pollution into our air to use them. We call them clean energy, okay? Non-renewable resources have to be conserved or saved because we have a very limited amount, and once we're out, we cannot get more. Also, using them adds a lot of pollution into our air. We use coal for many things. When we burn coal, it generates electricity, and that's what heats and allows lights to be on in our homes and schools and buildings, okay? So even though we rely on it, it is not the smartest choice. Same with oil and natural gas. Oil and natural gas are something called petroleum. We use that for lots of things. Anything that's made of plastic comes from oil and natural gas. Styrofoam is made from burning oil. And in order to use these things to create these products, they have to be burned, and that adds pollution into our air, which is leading to what scientists call climate change, or in other words, the temperature of the earth is slowly rising. You might have heard of global warming before. So when we're making choices between using renewable and non-renewable resources, we always want to try to use renewable resources if we can. Solar energy, wind energy, hydro energy, all of those things are better than non-renewable resources. So another reason that renewable resources are a smarter choice is because of a big word called biodegradable. And what biodegradable means is that it breaks down naturally in the environment. When it rains or when the sun shines on it over several months or years, it breaks it down and turns it into nutrients in the soil. Things that are made from non-renewable resources, like plastic and styrofoam, they don't break down. They're not biodegradable. So when you throw a plastic bag away or you throw a styrofoam bag away, these things sit in a landfill for thousands or millions of years. They do not decompose or break down the way things made from renewable resources do. So I'm going to show you what that looks like today. This is called a packing peanut. It's not like a peanut that we eat. I guess I could stop sharing my screen. You could be able to see it better. There we go. This is called a packing peanut. It's not like a peanut we eat. It's made of styrofoam, which I told you is made from oil, petroleum, which is a non-renewable resource. Styrofoam does not break down quickly. It is not biodegradable. Also, creating it or making products out of styrofoam adds a lot of pollution into the air. So a packing peanut is like if you order something online that's breakable, when they send it to you, they'll put a bunch of these in there to kind of protect it and keep it from breaking, okay? These are traditionally what packing peanuts are made out of, is styrofoam. However, I also have these kind of new packing peanuts that are made from cornstarch. Cornstarch is made from corn, which is a plant that grows. Plants are renewable resources. We can plant more of them. They can grow back. When we use them, it doesn't pollute the air, right? So I'm going to show you why a cornstarch peanut is a much smarter choice than a styrofoam peanut. Okay, so I'm going to show you that a cornstarch peanut is biodegradable. So here is a bowl where I'm going to put the cornstarch peanut, and I'm just going to add some water. This is just regular old water. I'm just going to add some water to it, and I'm going to kind of just poke it with this stick to show you that this cornstarch peanut is breaking down. It's biodegrading just from water, which means if these end up out in the landfill or on the ground, they're not just going to sit there forever polluting our earth. They are going to break down and decompose. And this might happen with just 1 or 2 times of rain, or maybe worms picking at it. Okay, this is biodegradable. Also, since this is made of corn, it's not adding anything yucky to our soil. It's just adding, natural things that come from the earth anyway. So that's an example of something that's biodegradable, that cornstarch peanut. Now I'm going to show you how the styrofoam is not biodegradable. Styrofoam, like I told you, is made from a fossil fuel called oil or petroleum. And when it's burned in factories or what are they called? Refineries. This is how products like styrofoam and plastic get made. So when I put the styrofoam peanut in water, I want you to look. Nothing happens. Nothing happens at all. And that's a big problem with using styrofoam is that it doesn't biodegrade. It doesn't break down. When you throw it away, it sits in a landfill for millions or thousands of years. In order to get styrofoam to break down, we have to use this very yucky chemical. This is called acetone. It's a very strong smell. If you have been to the nail salon or gotten your fingernails done or gone with a grown-up when they have, you would recognize the smell. This is in nail polish remover, but nail polish remover usually isn't 100% acetone. This is 100% acetone. So this is a yucky chemical that we don't want to get, on our skin or in our eyes, but I'm going to show you what it does to the styrofoam peanut. Do you see that? It is like basically disintegrating. Ooh, it's a strong smell. Disintegrating the styrofoam peanut. So it takes a very harsh chemical. So hopefully you understand the importance in choosing to use renewable resources made from things that do not pollute the earth, things that we can easily replenish, things that we can easily get more of, as opposed to using products that are made from non-renewable resources, such as coal, oil, and natural gas. Those are products that, or those are resources that are non-renewable. We cannot get more of them. Once we're done, we're done. And plus, using them adds a lot of pollution to our earth. Plus, they don't biodegrade. They just sit in a landfill. So always choose renewable resources when you have the choice. I hope that you had fun learning about renewable and non-renewable resources and seeing how the acetone breaks down the styrofoam peanut. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.